Prepare to pop your top, because all those potholes popping up from the wicked winter made you a number on your tires and your wallet. More cash-strapped states now looking to pump up the gas tax to repair all the damaged roads. But Gary B., we already pay enough, so not a penny more?
Exactly, Brenda. You know, the hue and cry is that, my gosh, we need to raise these taxes to pay for our roads. Actually, we already raise a lot of money. The problem is when, at least when the federal government gets a hold of it, they divert it to silly things like magnetic levitation trains and bike paths. Not that bike paths are silly, but if you're trying to fix the roads, they are, or ferries, or, you know, racial profiling. You'd be surprised the things that this money goes to. It's like every other government slush fund. It doesn't get spent where it is. And when it does get spent, the government, state and federal, spend it inefficiently. That's why you had the bridge to nowhere. That's why you had the big dig, which was $12 billion over budget. You know, Brenda, if we want to fix this, there's two ways. You can privatize it like they've done now in some of the highways in Northern Virginia, which would be, I would be in favor for. If you want the governments to run it, just use a user fee using the transponders a lot of us already have in our car.
Sasha, what do you think of those ideas, instead of charging the people who essentially use the roads to pay?
Well, you're still paying for it. If you have a toll road, right, and I have the Easy Pass thing too. If you have a toll road, you're paying in that way as opposed to paying for gas. So I don't really see what the difference is. I mean, what we know is that do we all feel like we pay enough already? Absolutely. But is there enough transportation and infrastructure funding? No. And we know that because nationwide, bridges and roads are falling apart. So the reality is you can't just sit on the sofa while your house falls down around you. You've got to keep the infrastructure.
Yeah, but Sasha, if the money is not going to repair the roads, that's the whole issue. We are paying, but it's not going there.
Well, I mean, that would depend, you know, state by state or federal. But like Gary B. said, he was talking about federal. If I totally agree with it being at the state level, because I don't want to, as a taxpayer, I don't want to pay federal funds to a state because they have a low gas tax.
Yeah, but if you live in a state like New York, Connecticut, California, you're already paying 70 cents a gallon. I can't believe it. And there's a huge difference between a gas tax and a toll road, because I often pay both. And I still have had nails and flat tires, all because the roads in this area. And look, it's all about what Gary B. said. I would pay gladly to fix the potholes if I knew, well, they were going to get fixed. But they're not. They're going to some congressional slush fund that apparently pays for Friday night dinners, I think. Like, who knows where this money goes? If we knew it was allocated properly, fine. But it's not.
Tracy, our intrepid commuter. Okay, Jonas, give us your take on this.
Why should somebody in sunny Miami, where they have no potholes, have to pay for New Jersey's lousy roads? That's not fair anyway.
You know, you take on New Jersey every week, Mr. Miami.
So warm. Look, I'm all for all kinds of taxes that are not income taxes at the low end, because I think they're easier to collect. Now, the government's going to waste money and misappropriate it and do big digs regardless of where the tax money comes from. So I would rather them raise it from sales taxes, gas taxes, and have no income tax for, say, the first $50,000 income, because that's a difficult to collect tax. The gas tax is an easy to collect tax that costs less in collection, so it will save the government at least that money. Now, the federal gas tax, they haven't raised that in forever. Obama doesn't have the nerve to do it, and he should, because that doesn't cover these costs, and they're dipping into all kinds of general revenue, taxing the poor guy in Florida to fix New Jersey's problems.
Okay, John, take him on.
Well, the problem here is not how we get the money to the government. The problem is the government itself. It is inept. You want to go state by state? How about all 50 states and one federal government? That pretty much covers it all. Lotteries were sold in the southern states. They were going to fund education. It went into the slush fund, just like Gary B. said. I am for a user tax completely. I think if you fly, you should pay for the TSA through some type of tax on your airline ticket. I think if you drive, you should pay for it through a gas tax. The problem, like everybody brings up, that goes into the general revenue, and it's not being used on the roads, and that is the problem. The problem is not the government raising money. The problem is the government.
Well, absolutely. Well, Sasha, what do you say is that issue?
You know, we have the worst kind of government in the world, except for every other one that exists, right? There is going to be ineptitude, absolutely, but you know, I think that the fix for this is legalizing pot everywhere. Did you see Colorado is looking at making $600 million this year?
Yeah, okay, but
that way you're high and don't notice the roads.
The potholes won't bother you at all.
What the hell?
Well,
But Brenda,
Gary
it
B, go
doesn't.
ahead.
We keep defaulting, well, you know, it's the government, we're always going to have big digs. We aren't always going to have big digs. Sasha rides the same roads as I do in Northern Virginia. That was a public-private partnership where the private part took on the bulk of the risk for that, and the state of Virginia gets the bulk of or a lot of the revenues. They only have upside there. My gosh, the whole turnpike system in our country was started as private enterprise. It doesn't have to be government-run.
Okay, that's got to be it. Thanks, guys.